Morning, everyone. Morning. What a great day, the Lord has made for us. Thank you all for taking the time to come to our weekly forum. We have a great show for you today. Great show. And Brad, did you want to say a few words about our Regency Oaks 2021 objectives first?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. We appreciate the large crowd and the support. We're going to launch into our administrative report just like we do every month. But before we start, we wanted to give you a little brief about the 2020-2021 objectives. Don and I are going to give you a brief update with an overview of how we stand from last year, what we look like for next year. You're going to be hearing more, and we'll close the presentation by sharing with you those anticipated future dates and what you can expect. So we're going to dim the lights, rotate to the screen, and start the presentation.
Okay, here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to give you an update on the 2021 objective status. Now, we had a tough year. I think we were all glad to see 2020 in the rearview mirror. Okay. Then we're going to talk to you about the 2021 objectives and who we're going to hold responsible for them. And then what's the road ahead? What are you all going to hear this year as we go downstream with regard to these objectives? I will just say that having a set of objectives this year is really, really an important thing to our community, because we got to get out of this COVID world. Okay, we have to get out of this COVID method, and we're on the way to that, of course, with the vaccines coming up on Saturday. So, next chart, Tom. Okay. Brad, you want to pick it up?
All right, so we thought we'd start by taking a look at our 2020 objectives, and as Don just mentioned, everything was sort of impacted by COVID this year. And so with the limitations in terms of social distancing and group meetings and the ability to fully execute our operational plans, it really did have an impact on what we were able to accomplish in some of our time frames. So last year, our number one objective was to sustain emphasis on an improving communication system. And we really made some progress this last year on communication. I can remember back in the early days of COVID, we were doing daily updates. We were doing broadcasts 3 times a week. We were providing flyers and handouts and informational and directional signage. We really stepped up the communication, and the feedback that we've received has been pretty positive. And then just recently, with the investment in technology and our new capabilities with Wi-Fi and the robocalling that we're using successfully now, we're going to see a continuation of improvement in communication. So this is one of the objectives where I think we really made some progress this year. And I'm pleased to see that we're joining the 21st century. The second one was focus on campus expansion. Don's going to give some updates once we go through this. Number 3 was integrate life care service processes into Regency Oaks. And so this is one of the things that continues to be important to us as we move forward. You'll recall that in February 1st of last year, we were acquired by our joint venture partner, Peak, and then the management company changed from Brookdale to LCS. And so just as we were going through that orientation and get to know you period, the honeymoon part of the relationship, well, along came COVID. And so LCS, they've been tremendous partners. They've been very supportive. They've given us access to resources, but that's all sort of behind the scenes. You don't get to see much of that. And so one of the things we want to make sure we focus on this year as we all get our vaccines and we get out of COVID and begin to return to a reopened community is we want to start developing those relationships with the LCS and Peak portfolio. The fourth one was improve resident dining experiences, and then the fifth one is sustained emphasis on maintenance operations. This is another one where I think we've made a tremendous amount of progress after years and years of experimenting and trying to find the right director. We finally scored a home run. So Darwin Perez is doing a tremendous job, and the improvement we've seen in our maintenance team has just been nothing short of phenomenal. Next slide.
Next one, Tom, if you would. Okay. This chart summarizes in bullet form where we came out at the end of 2020 on our 2020 objectives. One good thing that came out of improving communications was we really did a good job on using channel 732 to communicate to everyone. We have expanded the use of that great channel, and while it was a tough year, and while we had a tough time improving communications, one of the great things was the increased use of channel 732. Campus expansion, not a lot happened. They got some planning going. We are going to have early next year the start of our new town hall, and we're going to meet later on today, Brant and I, with Lou Weisslogal and the modernization committee. Integrate LCS processes. Well, we really didn't do a lot of that, but we have a major objective next year, okay, to try to make it happen. Because our focus was on the coronavirus. Ricky and Phil and his team did a great job with regard to dining, but the focus early on was on door-to-door delivery, and making sure we maintained distance, and making sure that while we had good food, they were delivering it right to our door early on until we got some things open right in the middle of the year. So good job for Ricky and Phil and all the great dining team. And maintenance operations did a great job. We're lucky to have Darwin, and I want to again thank you, Darwin, for all the great work that you're doing. But we had to focus on the coronavirus and following restrictions that were placed on Darwin and his team. So it was a tough year. We made some progress on our 2020 objectives, but the coronavirus really hindered us a lot. Okay? So that's where we are. Next slide, Tom.
So now we're going to introduce our 2021 objectives. And so we took this information in meetings with your resident board, and we've been trying to hone this in over the last 30 to 45 days. One of the things that we did that we are not going to do, let me start all over. One of the changes that we made that is an improvement is instead of trying to focus on 10 objectives, we've cut this down to 5. And the thinking is if we really focus on 5 objectives, we have a much better chance of having an impact and making a successful change. So this year there are 5 objectives that we are going to focus in on. And the first one is support the changing COVID operation environment as the community returns to normal with the goal of keeping our residents safe and preventing the spread of the virus. And so the vaccine is going to be a game changer as we think about the plans for reopening and our ability to get back to the lifestyle that you're accustomed to and that you seek. So that's our first objective. Our second is to improve communication by enhancing technology, our capabilities, and embracing the new interconnected platforms that allow more direct one-on-one communication, whether we're talking staff to staff or staff to residents or resident to resident. And so we've already started that significant capital investment in our upgrade of our Wi-Fi system. There is more coming And so we look forward to sharing that rollout with you over the next couple of months.
Okay, objectives 3, 4, and 5, which is all there are. As Brent said, we have 5 total this year. The third one is to get some campus expansion moving. And we're going to do our best to keep the residents updated with the most current information. Our fourth objective is to implement extraordinary impressions. LCS has a great First Impressions program that we're going to try to institutionalize within our great community. And we want our Regency Oaks culture to reflect the 10 hospitality promises of the company. And fifth, well, Ricky and his crew are doing a great job on the resident dining experience. We still need to implement our one meal a day program. We've been doing a great job, and Ricky and his crew are feeding us well. I think we've all gained a few pounds here and there, but that's nothing bad. We can get it off this year. Okay, please, Tom.
All right, so these are the team assignments. These are the rose holders, as we like to call them, the individuals who will be responsible for driving the objectives forward. We've always partnered up, and we've teamed a staff member along with a resident to be the responsible parties. And so for the first objective, return to normal operations, Leslie Haas and Don Hamilton are going to be our rose holders. And why don't you stand if you're here? Yeah, Leslie, I know Don is here. There we go.
There you go, Don.
Thank you. Our second objective is improving communications, and our rose holders are Perry and Fred. Perry, if you will stand, and Fred, I saw you. Our third objective is the campus expansion, and Lou Weislogel is going to work with me to drive that. Lou, you're here. Our fourth objective is implementing the Extraordinary Impressions program, and Sandra and Don are going to do that. Sandra is off today, but Don, thank you for joining us on that one. And then our last objective is driving dining experiences, and it's going to be Ricky Bacher and Margaret Henry. And is Margaret here this morning? All right, next slide, please.
So, what's the road ahead? Well, by the end of this month, those sub-teams that you saw are going to determine some sub-objectives. And then we're going to bring you back in here in February and give you an update with a little bit more depth on each one of the objectives, and the teams that we have are going to report out to you. Then about the middle of the year, we'll have a mid-year review, and we'll give a status report. What kind of progress have we made on our new objectives? And at the end of the year, we're going to tell you where we are, and if we meet what we set out to do, or did we have a few stumbles. My guess is we're going to meet what we started out to do. We have a great team, and we have a great community. So, next slide, please. Brand?
Just a quick summary. There's much yet to be done. We will have the follow-up briefings as we go along to make sure that you're engaged and supporting the objectives as we move forward. And then we will integrate this along with our coronavirus effort as we try to keep people safe and prevent the spread of the disease.
Questions from each of you, please.
Wow. Well, that's a question.
You can leave the rooms because there's been no messaging. You might want to review how you can phone the north building or the south building or everybody to let them know that it's all clear. How you can do that.
Okay. So that's a great suggestion. It's with so many new residents and the fact that we have not been doing group meetings. We also missed back in June of last year our annual fire update for all of the residents where we go through our fire process and evacuation process. And so we will plan to do a full town hall meeting. It takes about an hour to go through that process. Darwin and I usually lead it, and we will make sure not only to open it to the public, but we'll also broadcast it because that is important information that you should have. Great idea.
Coming back to you, hang on a minute.
Do we know which kind of vaccine we're getting?
So yes, the question is, do we know which vaccine we're getting? We're getting the Pfizer. Pfizer?
Yes.
Pfizer,
Yep.
yeah.
All right, any other questions? Okay, well, Brent, I think we're done with this. We can get on with the rest of the program.
All right. All right, we wanted to start this morning with introducing a new face. Everybody, this is Kyle Boland. Yes, welcome him. We're so excited to have Kyle join our team. He started with Freedom Square 7 years ago, I think, as administrator in training, and he and Rance came up together. They were both AITs. They went through the training program. And Mike Mason, the executive director down at Freedom Square, well, he got the first choice, and he chose Kyle. And I got stuck with Rance.
I'm calling him right now.
And so Kyle has been running the one of the nursing centers down at Freedom Square for these last 4 years. And when Rance left, and he is doing great, and he's back with Brookdale, and he's doing extremely well. But we had an opening, and so we had selected Kyle actually several months ago, but because of the COVID situation and his ongoing responsibilities and wanting to make sure we had a smooth transition, we brought in an interim, and he sort of held down the fort. But Kyle is now here, and he's here permanently. We are, again, so excited to have him. You're really going to enjoy working with him, and welcome to the team. I'm going to turn it over.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. So good morning, everyone. I know Brant stole a little bit of my introduction. So I'm Kyle. I came from Freedom Square. I was there for about 7 years. Moved here from Pennsylvania, I guess 7 years ago. I moved down here to start my AIT, and it worked out well. I got a connection at Freedom Square and with Brookdale, and was able to move my way up through the company. And I'm excited to be here. This is a great community, and I'm excited to keep taking it forward and moving it forward. And I know something that Jill Sorensen says is taking it from great to even greater, and deliver on that high quality of care that you all expect and our residents expect. So I'm very excited to be here, and I look forward to meeting each and every one of you. And
What is your position?
my position?
Yeah.
So I am the associate executive director here. I'll be assisting Brant and overseeing the assisted living as well as the healthcare center. So thanks again, and I appreciate working with all of you, and I look forward to the 2021 and a great and successful year.
Thank you.
The healthcare centers. So I'm going to talk about the goals, and I guess not the goals, I guess what it was accomplished in December for the healthcare center with Gerard and the team down there. So Roy Tolson was hired as a temporary director of nursing for the healthcare center. So he'll be here for the month of January and through February. The ALF achieved efficiency-free annual regulatory survey in the month of December. This is an outstanding accomplishment for the assisted living director, Melissa Pratt, and her staff. So this renewed their license for the ALF, and it is now approved for a 2-year license. COVID cases for the residents in the ALF in the skilled nursing center continue to be 0, and only 2 associates, despite testing all associates on a weekly basis. The health center, Travis, who is our healthcare liaison who works with the hospital systems, delivered decorative mugs to case managers during Christmas. The event served as an excellent opportunity to promote the health center and our current 0 COVID-19 status. The assisted living continues to run a full census in the month of December. Census is projected to run full for the month of January. The skilled nursing facility also exceeded census budget of 43, with a final census average of 45 for the month of December. The health center was one of the first facilities in the state of Florida to receive the COVID-19 vaccines from the Department of Health strike team on 12/20/2020. This was for both residents and associates. The second COVID vaccine, the booster shot, was provided on January 8th of 2021. So that was all completed. So that's very exciting for the healthcare center.
With plant operations. Here's a couple of updates that we got accomplished on the month of December. We did replace the main air conditioner on the kitchen. It was a big unit. It was broken for having a lot of issues. We got that done. We also did install new fire signage throughout the buildings. For the fire marshal asked us to do that. We got that accomplished, and we also got accomplished the big project of the painting, the exterior painting. That was complete also. All right, thank you.
Innovative Home Services. We hired 2 new home health aides and 1 companion in the month of December. We had 1 estate sale, and we had a very large turnout, so I appreciate everybody that comes and actually shops a little bit. We also provided home health services and homemaker companion services to 82 residents in the month of December. Thank you and have a great weekend. Perry.
Hi everyone, I'm Perry from Sales and Marketing. We had an exciting finish to the year, and in Q4 we closed 13 sales on a budget of 12. And Judy and Pam and Lucy, they worked exceptionally hard. And we also drove Sherry a little bit nuts because we had the 6 p.m. on a particular day to get everything in. And I think we got 1 minute to 6 or
2 minutes to spare. We got it.
And 7 of those sales came in the last week of the year. I don't know why we wait till the last minute, but 7 of those sales were very much at the end of the year. But we've got some great new residents that will be joining us soon. Just a couple of highlights of things in December. We had 40 different individuals that came in and interacted with us through different events that we did. We had a lunch and learn early in December. It was a little bit smaller turnout than what we normally get. However, the food and beverage team did their usual fantastic job of showcasing our culinary talents. And out of that event, we closed 1 new resident as a result of that. And we have another one that we're still talking to. We then had a holiday open house on the 10th and the 11th. We did back-to-back days. We had 18 different people that came in for that. So we continue to touch and work with the prospects and have people coming in to the marketing center to see us. And we've got e-blast and a lot of activities that are underway already, events next week. So we're starting the year strong and aggressive to continue to get us some new wonderful residents to join you. Thank you all.
UCOs, how are you? Happy Friday. In the month of December, we had our Joy Hanukkah stories. We decorated the campus beautifully. I hope everyone enjoyed all of the candy canes. Me and Ginger, we actually went around and it was a total of 167 candy canes. So that was wonderful. Also, we had our North Building Christmas party, John Timpanelli, his Christmas show, our holiday RORO experience, our Christmas Eve service with Dr. Rauch, our Christmas Day service with Father Bob. We introduced a new Protestant pastor, Jim Roy. We're happy to have him. As well as our New Year's Eve party featuring Mark Decker. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Leslie Haas, the Resident Services Director. For the month of December, we did our 2nd shingles vaccine clinic. We did another vaccine clinic for flu, pneumonia, and shingles. We had our Good Grief support group, our monthly sharps and prescription disposal, screening temperatures on residents, visitors, and employees, and maintaining the quarantine list for our residents with temperature checks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That concludes our administrative report. And Don, I'm going to turn it over to you. We'll go to questions and answers.
When is the stuff for February coming up?
The gourmet will be on Wednesday the 3rd, Wednesday the 10th, and Wednesday the 17th. And then we'll also have them in March too, right? That's gourmet.
What is Enchanted Evening?
We don't know.
Very important question. When will the first pizza come out of the oven?
Good question, great question. What do you think, Ricky? You ready to answer that one?
I'm ready for anything. Great jokes. I'm not sure on that because there's a couple of things going on. If you haven't noticed, when you leave today, you'll see smoke coming out of the top of the pizza oven. What we have to do is cure the pizza oven for 7 days. So we started it on Tuesday. So we put one log in. We try to get it up to 100 degrees, then 200 degrees the next day, and so on. Basically, what we're doing is curing it because if we take all the logs and turn the gas on and put it in there, it could crack the dome. I know because I have one at home, and we don't want that to happen. And we're also in the process of testing out different pizza doughs. So hopefully sooner than later, but there's a lot that's going into it. We're in the process of designing a menu and having different wines out there. But great question. But it's coming soon. And I'll have the first pizza to answer your question.
Way to go, Rick. Any other questions, please? I know Judy wouldn't let us down. Okay.
I know you probably don't know the answer, but when might we get lunch in the tavern?
Oh, that's a good question.
So we do not know the answer, but here's the reason behind the answer. Positivity rates in our county are still high. We are on day, I think, 110 of our phase 3. We're stuck. We're not able to move forward. There are 11 different criteria that you must meet in order to move to the next step, which is when we would open the tavern for lunch. So the answer is when the positivity rate returns to below acceptable standards. It's currently above 10%. The standard is 5%. And when everyone has gotten vaccinated, that is going to give us some extra consideration to maybe do some additional things. But right now, until we lower this positivity rate in Pinellas County, not much is going to happen.
Okay. Coming back to you, ma'am. How are you this morning?
Okay.
Good.
Fine. I wanted to ask Darwin about the pool. There's an awful lot of condensation in that pool. And I noticed the fans have not been on all week. So what's happening?
We had the company come out a couple of times, and there's been different issues with the main unit. Thermostat was bad. They replaced a lot of parts on it. And on the fans, I'm going to check up on that. We should be turning them on. And well, some people doesn't like the fans on right now because of the weather. So, and I don't think it will help. Well, some of the residents do like the fans on, but some of them they think it gets too cold, so it's perspiration. Well, we can put them on. All right.
I'm sorry, just to piggyback on what Darwin was saying, often we get complaints about the fans being on during the classes, so we're trying to please upwards to 450 residents, so just be patient with us. Yes, ma'am.
You know, it helps with the condensation. All week long, the ceiling was dripping. The windowsills near the spa area were just filled with water. I mean, you can't have that. You have to do something about it.
Yes, ma'am, I completely
You're
agree.
going to get mold.
Oh. They were here yesterday, actually. They changed the thermostat. They was having some issues. Hopefully that resolved it, or that will look into it.
Any other questions? Coming back, Tom.
I don't know if I can do it or not.
Sure you do. We need it. Hang on. Thanks for your help today.
I just want to give a thanks to all of you people responsible for keeping me healthy, all of us healthy, especially you, Brant. I think you've done a wonderful job.
Thank you, Tom, so much, but where it really starts is with you guys. We couldn't do this without your support and your willingness to follow the guidelines and contribute and the part you play in keeping us all safe. So thank you very much. We're going to wind up. There is one reminder that I want to give those who are in their apartments and who may be tuned in and watching. So our next opportunity to finish the consent forms and turn them in will be in both lobbies, starting at 11:30 and running till 1. And just to eliminate any confusion about this, you don't need to get there an hour early or get in line to be the first, because the numbers are not sequential. They are randomly selected, so you could be first in line and get number 400. You could be second in line and get number 2. So you don't need to come and line up an hour and a half before the start of the meeting. You're going to get a randomly selected number for Saturday's vaccine.
Very briefly.
Hold on, we're going to get you a mic.
Does that include couples?
Hold on a second, man.
I'm sorry. I just wondered if that included couples. What number for 2 people?
No.
Or we're gonna have wife going an hour, 2 hours before me?
Yeah, so great question. Everybody is an individual number. So if your number is 78 and your wife's number is 360, you would be coming at different times.
I don't like that.
Don't blame you.
Do we have to take our ID cards and all with us when we go to get the shingle?
So the question is, do you have to bring your ID card with you when you go to get the vaccine? As long as you have turned in the consent form and a staff member has reviewed it and checked it off, you don't need to bring your photo ID or your insurance card. Now, you do need to bring that with you when you turn in your consent form. So that's today.
Are we taking any more forms here?
We are not taking any more forms here. Your next opportunity will be north or south building at 11:30.
All right, anybody else? Going. Thank you for coming. God bless.